Okay, folks, so we're back again to the antebellum South. We're back to diversity, equity, and exclusion. And that's really DEI is an acronym for racism. That's all it is. It's just a nice a corporate term that essentially is a smokescreen for racism. And we know what it means. Diversity, equity, and inclusion really is all about demonization, exclusion, and isolation, isn't it? And here we are again. We've come full circle because we have appeased the lefties so long that we actually are playing into their game now, where we've come full circle, where we brought segregation back full-fledged and institutionalized it. And I thought they were saying the whole time, these lefties were saying, hey, systemic racism, systemic meaning it's in the institutions that we have in the United States. Has it been in those institutions in the past? Yes, it has. Is it to the height and intensity that the lefties have always said? No, it is not anymore. But they want to bring it back because they don't feel like there's a purpose in life. They've gotten rid of religion, so they have a vacuum to fill, and they fill it with these types of things. The new secular religion of DEI. So they're bringing back feudalism and segregation. And I'm just so darn proud of these people, for doing so much for humanity. We've come full circle where we have brought back racism in full and made sure, as opposed to what the lefties always say, we've actually made sure to reinstitute systemic racism. So here it is. UC Berkeley accused of segregation by allegedly banning whites from the community farm. Now, they only say allegedly because they don't want to get sued, but really they're banning whites from the community farm. Ignore this video here. It's of the border, something like that. So the UC Berkeley, and who's surprised at this point that it's UC Berkeley? Of course it is. UC Berkeley is under fire for allegedly banning white residents from using a community farm on Saturdays in a move one critic slammed as systemic racism. Bingo. Yep. The university told the Post it is investigating claims that the Gill Tract Community Farm in nearby Albany offers its space on Saturday exclusively to Black, Indigenous, and people of color. Well, you should allow Elizabeth Warren in there because she's like 1/5,000th Cherokee or something like that. So she is Indigenous. So yeah, after a complaint with the U.S. Department of Education by the Mountain States Legal Foundation. Well, good. Somebody's doing something. UC Berkeley thinks that racial segregation is progressive now. Yes, remember, communism always comes full circle. It starts as activism, agitation in the name of human rights while simultaneously tearing out the foundational human rights that everybody has. That's the trick. They say, oh, civil rights, we need them. And then they bring in segregation. And at the same time, they're actually tearing away foundational civil rights, which is inclusion, right? I thought inclusion was the name of the game. Anyway, I digress. UC Berkeley thinks that, yes, as I said, racial segregation is progressive, but it's no different than segregation of the past. It isn't. William Trackman, general counsel for the group, said. So, preventing Caucasians from accessing Berkeley's College of Natural Resources farm on Saturdays is a clear violation of Title VI, which bars educational institutions from engaging in or allowing race discrimination. Added Trackman, who is a UC Berkeley alumnus himself. He said the Fed should open a sweeping audit of every UC Berkeley program to ferret out what he claimed was systemic racism. And remember, the Feds love this. They desire segregation. Remember that. They desire this. So this is what they should do, and that is the job of the Feds to do this, to regulate this, to make sure that they're adhering to this. But remember, at the same time, the Feds are quite responsible for this. They have many subversives who are responsible for pushing this exact type of stuff, this exact segregation. Remember that. Launched in 2013, the farm is a partnership between UC Berkeley and the surrounding neighborhoods. Who cares? Faculty conduct urban farming research, great. To prepare healthy meals as part of the food justice movement, according to the farm's website. The complaint includes an email from a farm program manager telling someone Saturdays are exclusively BIPOC. What does BIPOC mean? Oh, geez, I'm not on people of color, right? Biracial people of color, non-binary, who knows? Exceptions have only been made for events that are BIPOC-centered and with plenty of advance notice and planning. You know, I do this show, right? I just make one recording, so BIPOC, what does it mean? Like, I want to know the real. Black, Indigenous, and other people of color. Okay, so there it is officially. I trust you stand in solidarity with upholding boundaries around that safe and sacred space. Manager, what a cloak to put on by saying it's a safe and sacred space. Isn't that funny? Well, if it's a safe and sacred space, you should allow all human beings there to have that safe and sacred space. If it's a sacred space for human beings, then all human beings, you should be inclusive, because this is part of the DEI thing, right? So anyway, there's Berkeley, whatever. The UC Berkeley rep said it had not been aware of the discrimination complaint until contacted by the Post, which provided a copy of it. The anonymous texts attached to the complaint have no specific information about time or place. And as you can see, the GuildTrack's website and calendar make no mention whatsoever of any program or activity of the sort described in the complaint. And this is what leftists do. They will do this, and they'll make sure to do it like off script or behind the scenes, or say, well, there's no indication that it's being done. But behind the scenes, they push this. They encourage this type of segregation. Having said that, the university takes complaints like this very extremely seriously, and I can assure you that on Monday I will contact the appropriate people on campus in an effort to determine what the facts are. Or they'll contact the appropriate people and go, oh crap, okay, we got to sweep this under the rug. We got to do something about this because we got a legal firm that's coming after us for this. So how do we hide this? So leftists will say, you didn't see anything, even though they're doing it. The challenge to alleged UC Berkeley segregated farm practicing comes after the U.S. Supreme Court ruled last June that colleges' race-conscious or affirmative action admissions policies were unconstitutional and had to be scrapped. Now, here is a picture, I guess, from the farm, and you know they threw a couple white people in there for the photo op, and then they're like, "Get out, get out." We got the photo op, great. We're abiding by these principles legally on our website, but get the hell out now. Okay, we got the photo op. More college race conscious and diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, yes, the biggest oxymoron in the world, created to advance opportunities for Black students and other minorities, have come under legal scrutiny amid complaints they amount to reverse discrimination. There's no such thing as reverse discrimination. Discrimination is discrimination, period. That's also, that's kind of a misnomer, okay? Last week, a federal discrimination complaint was filed against a Minnesota college scholarship named after George Floyd, of course, that is only available to Black students. The complainant in that case, the Equal Protection Project of the Legal Insurrection Foundation, has also filed claims of discrimination against other race-based exclusionary or preference programs, including against the SUNY Buffalo Law School and Medical School, as they should. And this is what you've done. When you push DEI, and really it's just a cloak for racial discrimination and segregation, and then the Supreme Court rules that this is unconstitutional, you're going to get what's happening now, the backlash against universities. And it's huge. These universities do need an army of lawyers, because and I'll just, pardon my French, but the fuck around part happened since about 2015 all the way up till now. And then the finding out is now happening. So it's just going to happen. Consequences are going to happen regardless. Whatever you want to do, you can run from it. You can do anything you want. You can scream about it, but nature demands consequences, okay? So NYP does, here's some of the comments. NYP does left's bidding, Nazi censorship. If I ever get a resume with Berkeley listed on it, by default, it goes into the circular file for reasons of poor judgment. That's pretty funny. Well, yeah, people are going to start seeing these resumes now, companies, and they go, whoa, that's a liability. Somebody from Yale, Harvard, NYU, Brown University, Berkeley, Stanford, they're going to see these and they're going to go, listen, we know that these apparently are also renowned as high universities that did have high academic standards, but we can't trust these students. These are the biggest agitators and troublemakers. We will be sued for glancing the wrong way, for blinking wrong, picking a booger, for going to get a drink at the water fountain. We can't have these people working for us. They are a liability to our company. So good job, Lenin and Marx. You brought it full circle and you ushered in neo-Marxism, and it's a disaster, as it always has been since its inception. So yeah, somebody said, let's see, Berkeley is in clear violation of Title VI, which bars educational institutions from allowing race discrimination. In fact, many other colleges and universities should also be held accountable. A lot of what these institutions are doing is unconstitutional. Yeah, it's racism. That's what they're doing. The left doesn't believe in the US Constitution. Well, of course not. The rules don't seem to bother or threaten these people. They know what they can do with their farm. Mean Street says back in the yesterday years, we had what they called the golden rule. Treat others as you would want to be treated yourself. What happened to that logic? That's the fuck around, find out logic right there. That's just a nicer way of saying it. I should say that more, actually. I'm just saying, I just want to make, kind of underline the point, though. And that's why I say F around, find out. A George Floyd scholarship for what? What area of academia did Mr. Floyd hold so high in esteem that a scholarship was bestowed in his honor? Well, I know he held up, at gunpoint, he held up a lady who was pregnant. And what did he come in her apartment? He dressed up as a cop, and then he came in her apartment and held her up. He was just a stellar academic, truly. You ever wonder why certain people allow certain people to choose who their heroes should be? His leaving the planet was overdue. From this, let's see. Yeah, and as I stated before, Terry Non-Given says, from the story, programs created to advance opportunities for Black students and other minorities have come under legal scrutiny amid complaints they amount to reverse discrimination. As I said too, they said there is no such thing as reverse discrimination. It is simply racial discrimination, period. People have said, yes, that's my pet peeve too. I can think of a large-scale BIPOC-only agricultural project featuring a historic staple crop that would make an excellent race-exclusive program. It would be based a little further east and south, but it would probably help them feel right at home. And you know what? That's funny. I honestly believe that. Like, if you put them to work and then said, we're going to grow cotton here, and it's specifically just for people of color, I wonder if there would be red flags that would go up on the leftist side. They don't see what they're doing, but a few do. Okay, I believe that. So they're growing their own crops for quote unquote food justice. You mean the Berkeley people actually think that there are farmers who won't sell their product to the BIPOC crowd, that these farmers would rather throw their cabbages and corn into a dumpster than make money from these people of brown. Does the BIPOC farm grow Cheetos and grape soda? Yeah, I don't know. Taxpayers have subsidies, have funded teaching communism for far too long. Yeah, it's what it is. It all comes down to the same old thing. It's all communist ideologies. And if you want to know more specifics about this, I'm not being ambiguous. Look up the 10 tenets and the 10 ideologies of communism. Read The Naked Communist. Read the Communist, the Unpolitically Correct Guide to Communism. You will see the tenets of communism. They mostly start with abolish, 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 okay? And so get right on that, kids, and they are. Anyway, you get the point. just had to point that out. Just a few comments like Chuck, with all the liberal anarchy happening at most colleges today, it is really surprising that UC Berkeley, the most liberal of all colleges in the United States, pretty much practices discrimination. What took them so long? They have been committing discrimination, which they called affirmative action, since the 70s. Jose Jimenez, thank you. Anyway, thank you for watching, folks, and I will talk to you later. Appreciate all the time that you've taken just to listen, and click on the like, click on the subscribe button, and I will talk to you later. See you later. Bye.